Hello and welcome. My name's Nancy Attrill and I'm with Master Job Skills. Today we're going to talk about 12 critical mistakes that you may be making during an interview and how to avoid them. So really, why won't they hire me? I'm qualified. Well, it could be one of these or several of these mistakes that you're making and not even realizing it. Let's dive in. Okay, first of all, my name's Nancy Attrill. As I said, I've owned and operated small businesses for many years. I also have had many years in leadership and management roles in corporate world. I've recruited, interviewed, hired, trained, mentored many employees in the course of my career. I currently teach post-secondary business courses, and I'm a natural wellness consultant. Okay, so let's get right into the first mistake. First of all, have you ever walked out of a job interview thinking, "Geez, I could have done better"? The truth is, most people don't lose their job because they lack skills. They lose it because they are making a lot of mistakes that the interviewer can see, and it instantly damages your first impressions. So today I'm breaking down these 12 things that you should never do in a job interview and how to avoid them. So if you show up confident, prepared, and professional. So the first thing is arrive late. No excuses. Absolutely no excuses to be late. Your appointment's at 10 a.m. Make sure that you allow for times for, if you have to cross level train crossings, if you have construction in your way, if you're in an area where there's usually heavy traffic, you have to account for all of that. So make sure that you arrive at least 20 minutes early. And that way, if you do come up with a little bit short, you've got a little bit of time. But being in the interview space, now this is if you're going to be there in person, 20 minutes early, so you can actually have time to be ready and waiting for the meeting. The benefit really is that you show the interview that you're responsible and eager. And it also gives you time to relax, breathe, and mentally prepare. We all know that we're nervous and a little bit uptight about getting, I have to get there on time. If you have encountered any issues and you finally made it, it's always nice to have a couple of minutes, a few minutes where you can just take some deep breaths, chill out, think about how you're going to approach this interview, etc. Okay? Very important. Do not be late. It'll just show the interviewer that you're going to be late for work. Okay? If you can't even show up on time for an important interview. Okay, I think I've talked about that enough. So if you show up unprepared, oh my goodness, you have to be prepared for this interview. You have to show that you have interest in the company and the position. So if they ask, tell me about a challenge you faced, and you freeze, that's a problem. Most candidates prepare for easy questions, but employers want to see how you think under pressure, and you're going to get the tough questions. So prepare examples of conflict, any weaknesses you might have, failures, team issues or disagreements, and what have you done to solve problems. So you might say, gee, I don't want to talk about all those negative things. However, these negative things do happen in the workplace all the time. It's unavoidable. It's not that they happen, it's how you handle it. So maybe you recognize a weakness that you've had. How have you handled it? How did you take corrective action? What did you learn from it? The same with failures and mistakes. Don't be afraid to say about a failure that you've had or a mistake that you made, because guess what? The interviewer has had failures and made mistakes. Everybody does. It's how you handle it. It's your responsibility factor. It's how you show up and own what you've done or not done that you should have or should not have done, and how have you handled it, and what have you learned from it. Okay, again, your problem solving skills, that's not a negative one, that is a positive. Turn that into a problem or into a positive. Your problem, you have a big problem at work. How did you handle it? What did you do to resolve it? Did you grab team members and do a think tank, or did you come up with some solutions on your own? And how did you present that? And was it implemented? And how did it make you feel? Did it make you feel empowered to keep doing, coming up with good problem solving activities in the future? That's what you want to show in an interview, rather than just saying, oh, I don't know, I don't think I've had any problems to deal with, because everyone has. So really the STAR method is a good guidance to use, and that is assess the situation. What is the task at hand? What do you have to do? How are you going to take corrective action, and how are you going to implement? You can have all the ideas in the world, but if you don't implement, it doesn't mean anything. So you want to take that action, and what was the result of that action? So when you're coming up with examples, use the STAR method on how you formulate that conversation. And of course, all of these things take practice ahead of time. Okay, so there's lots of prep work that needs to be done. Okay, so how about showing up and you've not researched the company whatsoever? You don't know anything about them. You don't even know what they manufacture or what service they provide specifically. So you need to really research. In the first place is obviously their website, their social media sites. What are people saying about them? How, if you know any employees that work for that company, maybe do like mini interviews and saying, what kind of a company is it to work for? What is their top 3 things that they are known for? How are the customers? Are the customers happy? Do they have a lot of satisfaction? So you want to go in there knowing about the company, and you need to know about the job. So you study that job posting. You study it, and you apply it to your research of the website. And okay, now I understand. Now you're going to probably have some questions that come out of that about the job. So you're going to assess what are their values. So you want to tap in on their value system and how you are going to be an asset to bring those values to the forefront. Recent news about them. Do they have any ethics problems or whatever? So the role that you applied for, you have to always bring questions. Always, always, always bring questions. So one of the fastest ways to look uninterested is not knowing anything. So what does your company do? The interview is already over. So you're going to bring questions that show that you're interested, and your silence in that regard shows a lack of preparation. Okay. So negative body language. Now, I have an entire video on nonverbal skills, and I want you to, after you're finished to the end on this one, I want you to go and take a look at my nonverbal skills video, which I've put the link here, and also it is in the description section of this video. Okay, so I'll just go through a couple of things. You may say the right words, but your body language is saying the opposite. So avoid not making eye contact, slouching, fidgeting, crossing your arms, looking down, looking up. Sometimes when you look up, people are going to say, oh, you've done an eye roll. That's a negative thing. So make sure that be very mindful of those different facial expressions, and don't forget to smile. And you don't have to have a big phony smile. You just need to smile at the right times. If you're talking about a conflict, you probably won't smile. But if you're talking about a problem you've solved and you're very proud of, or you're proud of some work you've done, make sure that you have at least a slight smile on your face and a brightness to your face, so that you look positive. Okay, and sit upright, smile naturally, maintain a calm eye contact, don't stare, nod slightly, turn your head and lean in a little bit while they're speaking, let them speak to the end, and make sure that all your nonverbal motions and your language are showing that you are genuinely interested and engaged. Okay, so there was one interview that I attended as a candidate. I wasn't the interviewer, I was the interviewee for a management position, and I came prepared with a list of questions about the position and the company. I had done my research on the organization. Toward the end of the meeting, I asked if it was okay for me to ask a few questions, and I took out my list. It was on paper, not on my phone. And, people are really wanting to, take that phone out and be techie savvy. But sometimes a good piece of paper is an effective prop, okay, rather than a phone. It's just something different these days. The two interviewers, who were the owners of the company, looked at each other, and I wasn't sure whether that was good or bad at the time. It turns out it was very good. I had really impressed him with direct, respectful, and relevant questions. I was hired within a day, and I believe that along with my qualifications, they were impressed with me. I showed them I am willing to do the work required to get results, and that is very, very important. So, I hope that gives you some pause for thought and how you're going to prepare. Okay, so the next thing you never do is have inappropriate appearance. Okay, you don't always need a suit, but you do need to look professional. Wrinkled clothing, poor grooming, overly casual outfits really hurt your credibility even before you speak. So if you look messy, that equals that you're going to work messy. If you are over or underdressed for the position, unprofessional. Okay? Yet the good rule of thumb is to dress one level up above the company culture. So if you're going to apply for a position that is in, contracting or one of the trades, of course you're not going to wear a business suit, but you're not going to wear a sloppy t-shirt and faded jeans with stains on them. You're going to dress one step up from that. Maybe a good, well-tailored pair of jeans and a nice shirt. Okay. And in case of, if you're female, you want to look more feminine, maybe a pair of dress pants and a nice blouse. You don't have to wear, business attire because it's not a business position. But you do have to look neat and tidy and well-groomed, okay? So that's really how it goes. And there's lots of body image, professional way to dress professionally. I use this rule of thumb when I'm speaking. I do a lot of public speaking. I'm speaking to employee groups and culture groups. And I always, assess who the audience is going to be. And I dress one step up from what I feel that the audience is going to be dressed as. So if they're coming in a business setting and they're all coming business casual, I might go full business. Or if they are jeans and t-shirts, I might just come in a business casual environment. In other words, pair of dress pants, nice shirt, blouse, whatever. So you do need to, but it always has to look neat and tidy and clean and simple. Okay, clean, simple, professional. That's what you need to go for. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to pause for a moment, and this is my disclaimer. That's a picture of me. There's no guarantee that following all of these strategies will result in you being hired. There are many reasons why employees choose one candidate over another, but avoiding these mistakes will give you the best chance of standing out from the others. Okay, so I welcome your feedback once you've worked on developing your best interview strategies, and I would invite you to share your comments below, and I will respond to them when you do. Okay. Okay, so let's not get too personal. You're there for a job. It's really inappropriate for interviewers to ask personal questions of you. So please don't offer too much personal. So avoid talking about things like family drama. Hold on here. Personal relationships, financial struggles, personal complaints. Okay? The benefits of this are that HR does not need to know your personal business. Okay? They need to know that you're going to show up and that you're going to give them the best of yourself in a work environment and be reliable and honest, and that you can actually do the job that you're applying for. So all of this other stuff, don't say, oh, I quit my last job because I broke up with my wife or my husband and my partner, and I just couldn't take the stress, so I just quit my job. That is a job killer right there. Okay? They don't need to know any of that information. We talk about what to say when if you have a gap in your work history, or you quit a job because it was a bad environment. I have other videos that are going to address that, so please stay tuned and please go through some of my other videos and you will get some of that information. Babbling, okay? I call it being a babbling brook, which is a small river. Nervous candidates ramble on about a topic, and they think that they need to include every single thing that you're qualified to do in a single run-on sentence that lasts 5 minutes. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I think you know what I'm talking about. A 30-second question becomes a 5-minute speech, and it's because you're nervous and you just keep going and going and going and going. Long answers make you seem unfocused and unprepared, so you're throwing everything at the wall because you're really not sure how to answer the question. So, keep your answers direct, organized, and relevant. Say enough to impress, and don't overwhelm them with information. Remember, they have your resume. They've already read most of the things that you might be rambling on about. They just want you to answer the direct question that they posed, and they don't need any more than that answer. Okay? Now, don't shorten yourself too much. Answer the question appropriately, but just remember, take a deep breath, check on yourself. If you find you're talking too fast or that you're running on sentences, just stop the sentence and say, yes, well, my point is this is what I can do. And just end it and keep it nice and clean. Okay, so you can recover if you catch it early enough. So long answers, I just mentioned all that. Okay, so the benefit is they'll see that you will not be a time waster at work, and so that's a positive if you keep it nice and relative and well organized. Negative talk. Okay. Please don't make any negative talk about prior employers or prior work teammates or whatever. You can turn a negative situation into a positive if you need to. Even if your last job was terrible, never insult your former bosses, coworkers, or companies. Interviewers will think if they talk about them this way, then what are they going to do with us? Okay? So stay professional. Focus on growth and opportunities. Why did you leave your last job? I'm leaving my last job because I'm looking for a growth opportunity that I felt that maybe I was at the top of my growth potential at that company, so I really want to grow and I want to have new opportunities. That's all you have to say. You do not have to go down the rabbit hole of negativity. Okay? It'll backfire on you for sure. Don't lie. Okay, this is a real big thing right now. I've been seeing so many YouTube videos saying it's okay to lie on your resume or lie in an interview. I'm here to tell you, no, it is not okay. Employers check. In fact, they have, with all the tools that we have at our disposal, it's so easy to verify whether a candidate is lying or exaggerating their qualifications or experience or education. They can find that, they can verify that in a nanosecond. Okay? And they do. Now, there might be the odd employer out there that doesn't, and you may get lucky and squeak through, but then what happens when they expect you to do a certain task and you have no clue how to do it? Winging it is not the way. And, there's an old saying, fake it till you make it. A good employer and an on-the-ball manager is going to see that immediately. Oh, this person lied. They really can't do this. And you're usually on a probation period when you first start. You probably won't get hired permanently if you pull this. So please don't do it. It's better to say if you don't have a skill. So I'm currently learning that skill right now because I know it's important to this job and I'm learning it right now. And then do it before you start the job. Make sure that you have completed it before you start the job, okay? The benefit is you are going to express and you're going to exude honesty, and that equals trust. And employers want to know that they can trust their employees, because if you can't trust an employee, you're not going to give them responsibility that are going to make them happy with their work. Let's face it, we all want to have certain responsibilities, and that knowing that our manager actually trusts us with certain tasks, and that we're able to perform them. And when we do, we feel really, really satisfied and part of the team, and that keeps us staying with that company. Okay, so it's very important. Do not lie. Please do not lie. Now, when you're looking at a job, a posting, you're going to actually, doing a whole bit on resume preparation. You are going to obviously find the keywords that, at least the keywords that you believe they're going to be looking for in your response, in your resume. And then they're going to have a long hit list of every qualification that they're requiring. I'm going to suggest that the top 4, or maybe 5, but definitely the top 4 are really the important ones that they're looking for. They're going to prioritize it first. And so if you have those top 4 qualifications, and you actually do, but you don't have the other 3 that are below it, don't just assume that they're not going to hire you. They may be prioritizing it and saying, well, they got these 4, I could probably live with them not having that, and those things are trainable, etc., etc. So don't just naturally assume that they're not going to hire you if you don't have all 8 or all 10 qualifications. The top 4 or 5, you probably do. So focus on that. Make that part of your resume. If you have to rearrange your generic resume to put those tasks at the top, go ahead and rearrange that. Make sure that you're matching keyword to keyword on what they are, how they are describing it, so that all the algorithms, when they go to weed out, try to shortlist their applicants, that you'll be on there. And you're not lying, you're just reprioritizing and using the right words that are going to get attention. Okay, so that's just a little sidebar on resume writing. That's just a little bonus. Okay, back to the interview. Interrupt or arguing. Please do not interrupt your interviewer or argue with them. You may not agree with something they say. Stay silent. Just say, well, that's an interesting take. And so you're just going to, and if they ask you how you feel about that, then don't lie about it. Just say, I have a different opinion on that, but I'm open to explore why you have yours. I'm open to exploring it. And I have been known to change my opinion based on, people's different perspectives. And that's really a good answer. Okay, so you're not selling your soul. You're still holding on to what your true beliefs are, but you're not pounding them with it. You're saying, I'm willing to adapt. I'm willing to adapt. I'm willing to listen to different opinions and, work together as a team. Wow, that's a big, big plus right there if you say those kinds of things. So strong communication includes listening. Okay, wait until you're asked if you agree, and then ask, and then answer respectfully and honestly, obviously. Interrupting means you're not listening. You're just waiting for a break in the conversation to pound your opinions at them. Okay? Just take your time, take a deep breath, practice that active listening. And of course, I also have an active listening video that you can watch and learn from. So if you disagree, just stay calm and respectful, because there are such polarizing opinions these days. You don't want to blow a chance to work for a company and have a job that you really, really want, because one opinion is different from yours. So just be very mature and take a breath, pause until they're finished speaking. Okay. The benefit of doing that is a calm and controlled response equals emotional intelligence, and every employer wants to see that their candidates and their people they hire have a high degree of emotional intelligence. Oh, and the next one is, what the heck is that? Well, I'll tell you what it is. Do not curse or swear. Even if the interviewer says, the F-bomb or says some things like that. You don't do that. Just do not. Do not swear. Do not curse. Watch your language. I have a lot of, different social media accounts, and even my personal accounts, I do not swear on them. I don't need to. There's no reason for me to swear. People that know me in my personal life, when I'm out, with friends or family and we're talking, or I'm playing golf and I'm not swinging the ball very well, yes, I swear. Oh, yes, I do. But it's only in certain circumstances. I will not swear in a business setting. I just don't do it. I don't swear when I'm teaching my students. I just do not. Okay? It just keeps my level of professionalism up to where I feel that I want it to be. And that includes cleaning up your social media posts. Okay? When you are really, really wanting a good job, go back to all your socials. And you might want to remove a few, questionable comments or photos of yourself. You don't want, that photo if you've been partying and you're falling down or something, and it's very funny with your friends, but if it's something that is a public post, they're going to look at it and they're going to say, oh, they might have a bit of a problem here, and I don't think I want to take that chance. So clean it all up. Just clean it up. You don't need to keep all that stuff on. If you've gotten the laugh or you've made a statement, political, religious statements, I would just kind of take them off for a while and just make sure that when a potential employer of a job that you really want goes and looks at it, they're not going to see anything that will sway them one way or another. Okay? It's just not worth it to test those boundaries. Okay? Especially if it's a job that you really want. Not to say that maybe people don't curse while they're on the job. They probably do. But in an interview, nope, please don't do it. Okay, your phone access. Yes, this is always a problem. If you have your phone visible or turned on, that is not a good sign. Nothing says I'm not focused faster than checking your phone, or to have it turned on. And of course, when it beeps or dings, you're interrupted. You're looking down at your phone to see who's texting you or calling you. Oh, no. Terrible, terrible. That would cause a resume to go in the trash can for sure. So never keep your phone visible. Always turn it off, or at least on silent, and don't keep it on vibrate because you can hear it. So tuck it away. I know it's hard. We're all attached to our phones, but in an interview, absolutely not. Only bring it out if necessary, and that means that you need to get your phone out to answer a question that you have to look up something. I wrote that down. Do you mind if I take my phone out? And so you're asking first, and when you're done, put it back away. Okay? So I need to access my phone and to answer this question. Is that okay? All right. So you're always going to ask if it's okay to bring my phone out. You don't just have your phone sitting on your lap or on the desk or in your hand. Keep it tucked away. Okay. I think I made my point there. All right. So that was number 12. Wow. We went through them fast, didn't we? So before closing this video, I want you to choose 2 of your weakest skills in this regard and spend the next week intentionally working on them. Check yourself for other mistakes that I've mentioned here. Practice them by conducting maybe a mock interview with a friend as an interviewer, or you can just record a video of yourself and answering certain questions that you have written down. Catch anything that may project a negative vibe, okay? And check yourself against these 12 no-nos, okay? Never-nevers. Having done the work will set you apart from the other candidates. I guarantee you it'll set you apart. Yeah, I can't guarantee they're going to hire you, but they're going to keep interested in you for sure, And you'll have much better chance of being hired. Okay, so I hope I've helped you here in these little tips and tricks. And here you can click here for other videos. There's 6 essential skills that get you hired. It's my long form video. It has a whole lot of information in it. It's got my 5 nonverbal skills and also active listening skills. And these are also found in the description section below. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much. Have a great day.